bootstrap. Okay, so I use the bootstrap websites. Okay, and something whichever I think that it will be suited on it, I copy from that. And when I think that here maybe changes takes place, and so I understanding from bootstrap.com or from W3 school or some videos, I taking help and then I am making. So
Okay, excellent. So shall we continue with what we discussed yesterday?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So let me share my screen and I'll.
So can I stop sharing?
Yes, yes, you can stop sharing. Yeah. So yesterday we discussed till loops. Okay. So obviously you are going to start here and you will be asking me questions. Okay. Tomorrow, hopefully you should have a lot of questions because you're just starting PHP. And you know the first homework that you're supposed to do is create the entire website on server and as a string and echo it. That is your first homework in the PHP. Now,
So,
since you, yeah,
sir, when I start my PHP for any ID users for PHP, or I will make it on means now I am using Visual Studio. So for
okay,
this I have to install some software. It will work on that Visual Studio also, sir.
you can use Visual Studio. There is no problem. You can use that. You can even use Notepad also. There is no need for any special software. The advantage of using special software, or as they call it, it is called Integrated Development Environments, IDE. The advantage of using PHP specific IDE is that it will give you what do you call, it will help you with prompting.
Some
That is, it will help you in code suggestions,
yes, yes.
prompting, hinting. Like as you're typing certain class names, it will automatically get the class names from your project. So like that, there are some benefits if you use IDEs. Okay, but you can continue with Microsoft Visual Studio. You are using Visual Studio, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good IDE. That also has a lot of suggestions and code hints and help and all that. So you can continue with that. There's no need for you to change. But
Okay.
however, you will have to install Exam. Have you already installed Exam? Okay. So you will have to install Exam. I'll just show you how you will have to get it. So you will have to Google XAMPP double P, XAM double P. Okay. You have to go to Exam website. So Exam website, it is there on apachefriends.org, apachefriends.org. So if you click on that exam installers and download, if you come here, it will show you what version, whether you want Exam for Windows, Exam for Linux, or Exam for this Apple OS. Okay. So you can click here saying Exam for Windows. Okay. And you have to install this software. Okay. Once you install Exam software, I will show you how it looks like. Uh, so it will look like this. Exam software will look like this. So I usually run Exam using as an admin, run as an administrator, or you can directly click and open. There is no problem. Okay, but I usually run it as an administrator because when you're trying to close Exam, if you're directly opening it, it gives an error, and some process of Exam still remains in the computer. But when you're using it, running it as an administrator, and when you try to close Exam, everything is closed. It closes very cleanly. I don't know why that happens, but So I run it as administrator. So exam control panel. Okay. So once you install exam on your computer, you will get like this exam. Okay. So when you open it, you will get the exam control panel like this. I will show you. It will open now. So this is the exam control panel. Okay, so this is how the exam control panel looks like. Okay, so you have Apache server. You need Apache server to run the PHP code, and you need the MySQL software to run for you to connect with the database. Clear? So when you are running the PHP code, you just have to use the Apache server. You don't need the MySQL. But when you are using database, also you need to run the MySQL. So how do you run? You have to click on start. Okay, so once you open this exam control panel, after you open it, you have to come to this start button and click on start. So when you click on start, that particular server will start. So Apache server has started. So this is the process ID. So if you go to the task manager of your laptop, it will show these two process IDs will show. And this is the port number where it is running. So once you install exam and you start the Apache server, you can actually open the local host. Okay, local host. LOCALHOST, local host. And if you press enter, it will actually open the exam server page automatically. Okay, it will open the exam server page. And this particular exam server, after it is installed, it is installed usually in C drive. Inside C drive, you will get a folder like this, exam. Okay. Inside that folder, when you open it, you will get a folder called htdocs. So Nazia, this is where you will have to make a lot of notes, because I don't know whether you will remember all of these things. Because if you do not remember this, you will get stuck. So please make notes.
Okay, sir.
So I told you about exam. I told you about installing exam. And I told you about exam being inside C drive.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, and inside that C drive exam folder, I told you about htdocs, htdocs, that particular folder. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And whenever you are opening localhost, whatever you are seeing here, localhost, okay, whatever you are seeing here, it is actually coming from this folder. Okay, it is coming from this folder inside htdocs. Is it clear till here? Do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so it's coming from this folder. So what I can do is, inside the htdocs folder, I am creating another folder, and I am calling it as training 2021-09. Okay, training hyphen 2021-09. You can create any folder name. I am just creating it as like that because I know it is training and I know it is the month of September. So I'm saying 2021-09. So I can do whatever I want, or I will call it as 2109. Okay, I can name it anything. Clear? So now if I come to here, if I come to this local host, and if I change this directory as training dash 2109. So this is the folder I created, correct?
We have to put the folder name on that local host, sir.
Yes. if you are putting the files inside the inside a folder, then you have to put the folder name. If you are not putting it inside the folder, you need not put the folder name. You can directly type the file.
Okay, sir.
Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yeah. So when I come and when I type the folder name like this and I press enter, you will see that it is showing me the directory. And in that directory, nothing is there. So it is showing it is an empty directory. There is nothing inside that. Okay. So if I come here, you will see that inside this folder, nothing is there. So it is showing empty. Okay. So now here I can create a PHP file. Okay. And when I create a PHP file and if I save it inside that folder, we will see that in the browser also that file should show. Okay. So I will, inside that I will write training inside that PHP file and I will save it. And I will come inside C drive, exam folder, htdocs folder and training 2109. And inside that, I will change this to all files because it should not be txt, it should be PHP. So I will change it to all files and I will write let's say I will write it as file.php. Okay, I'm writing it as file.php. I can keep any name I want. Only thing is I have to remember the name and type it in the browser. Okay, so I'm writing as file.php. Clear? So in that file.php, I just wrote training. That's all. Nothing else I wrote. Clear? So now here that file.php has not come because the page has not refreshed. It is old, correct? So now if I come here and if I refresh this like this, you can see that file.php has come. Why? Because inside that folder, that file.php is there. So automatically here also file.php has come. Okay. So now how do I run that file.php? I have to come here and after I put that folder name here and I put a forward slash like this, I have to type file.php. Okay. So when I type file.php, what will happen? It will load that PHP page. So inside that PHP page, what did I write? I wrote training. So since I wrote training there, here also you can see it has come as training. Okay. So this is how you have to run a PHP file. Clear? Now, just to show you, just to make you understand, I am stopping the server. Now it is running. You can see green color. The Apache server is running. Okay. Now I will stop the server. So now the server has been stopped. Okay. So now the server is stopped. So now if I come and refresh here, will this page come as training?
No, sir. Because
Okay.
the PHP.
Yeah. So let me run this now. So I'm running it. So let us see what will happen. Yeah. What is it saying?
This site
The
can't be reached.
Yeah, the site can't be reached because the computer does not understand what is localhost. The browser does not understand what is localhost. Okay, it will look for localhost in the internet, whether there is anything called localhost. Okay, and there is nothing like localhost, and it will also check on your computer, on the computer also, whether localhost is there or not, and it will not find localhost. So it will say that the site can't be reached. Clear? So that is the importance of exam. So in your study today, please learn about exam, installing of exam, creating a file in PHP and loading it. All that you please do today without fail. Okay. So that, and once you do that, you please do this homework also. Create the entire website on server as string and echo it. Okay. So once you study this, you will understand what this homework is. Clear? Okay. So, Nazir, shall we stop here and continue this tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to continue, then you can continue, sir.
Okay. So will you understand?
Yes, sir, I will understand. And when I practice, then it will be more clear, sir. Means
Okay,
I can understand from you.
fine. Okay, ma. Then we'll continue with this. We'll go on till 3 o'clock. Okay. So here, there are some in HTML. I mean, now it is actually coming to HTML only. All this form input and this the type of inputs. All these are HTML only, but you have certain PHP related code also in it. So that is why it is being taught in PHP and it is not taught in HTML. Okay. So in PHP, let us learn about what are the different types of inputs that are there. Now, what are inputs? What are uh, what are form inputs and types? So, whenever in a website you want to log in, what you will do? You will write the username and you will write the password. Correct? So the place where you write your username and the password, that particular place, that box is called as an input element or an input. That is where you input the data. The user inputs the data. Okay. So you want a little time, Razia, you want to take a break?
Sir, for just for a second, sir, they
Yeah,
understand.
sure.
Yes, sir. Now continue.
Yeah. So the place where a user inputs the data, types the data, that is called as a input element. Okay. There are different types of input elements. So what I will do is I will use this whatever we just created. Okay, and I will show you those input elements, just those input elements, how they are and all that. I will just show you those things. So for example, you this is how you write your input element. You start with the less than symbol and you write input. So, and when you close it, it's a self-closing tab. Okay. You can just start and close the tab and write input inside. So as soon as you write that, and if you come here and refresh the page, you will see the input element. That's all. So that is the simplest way of putting an input element. Okay. You just write input, the input element comes. But there it has a lot of options. You can name the input element. You can add an ID to it, class to it. You can even tell the type of the input element, what type of input element it is, and that is what we will be discussing right now. So there are different types of input elements. You have hidden type, you have password, file, select, radio, checkbox. Like that, you have different types of input elements. Okay. So now I'll just show you hidden and password. So in this input element, you can type whatever you want. Like for example, I am learning. Okay, you can type any input. User can type anything inside. Okay. Now I can make it as hidden. I can actually hide that input element. Okay, so what will I do? I will come inside this code and I will write type is equal to, okay, hidden. Okay, so when I write enter this type is equal to hidden, if I come to this browser and if I refresh this page, you can see it got hidden. It's not shown. But if you go right click and go to view page source, okay, view page source, you will see that that particular input element is still there. Okay, in the source it is still there, but it is not shown here. Okay, so the reason why sometimes input element in hidden format is used is because if you want to save some data on the page, okay, you want to capture some data on the page, and you don't want to show that you're capturing that data temporarily, you're capturing that data, you can use an input element and you can put that data into an input element and you can hold that data in an input element, and when it comes to jQuery or when you are submitting a PHP form with that input element, you can use that data. Clear? So whenever you don't want to show an input outside but you want to hold some data or information inside, we usually use a hidden type of input element. Clear? So now I'll show you one more. That is the password. Okay, password type of input element. So whenever you are typing a password in a registration form, or whenever you are trying to log in, that password input element is actually type password. Yeah, you want some time, Nazia? Okay. You want to take a break?
No, sir.
No problem. Okay, fine. So this password type, if you come here and refresh it, you can see that the input element has come. Okay. But now when I start typing, you can see that it is not showing the character. It is hiding the character. So this particular behavior comes from the input element. It comes because the type is equal to password. Clear? So that is what is password. The same way you have file type. Type is equal to file. So if you must have seen, like when you were entering into training.rejola, it asked you for your photo and it asked you for your resume. Okay. So you actually selected a file and you uploaded the file, correct? So that selection of file, it happened because that particular input element was a file type input element. So if I come here and if I change this to file, okay, if I change this to file and if I refresh this, you can see that it has become a file selection type. So it is saying choose file, and it'll open up, Windows Explorer or a open tab, and it'll make you to select a file. Clear? So that is a file type. The same way you have select, radio, and checkbox, three different types. Now these three are a little different. It is not exactly like these three things. These three are a little simple. This is a little different. Okay. But I will not show it to you because I want you to read it and go through it and ask me if you have any doubts in this. We will discuss that in detail. Clear? So I will not be telling that, so that I want you to go through it and come back to me with any doubts you have. So I think we'll close it now, Nazia, because one is you are yet to do the previous class and the previous homework. So I don't want to keep on telling, because then you may not cover everything, and the progress might not sync. I may tell something, you may do something. So let us not go too far from here. Let's stop here. So please focus on your 8 hours and focus on doing as much as possible. Don't stop in 8 hours. Like yesterday, you stopped exactly 8.2 or something.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, I was not stopping. Actually, what happened when it's
Yeah.
close to 8.2, and when I was started again the 10 minutes, it stopped. Maybe in my laptop, sir, my phone Wi-Fi is not connected with my laptop, sir.
Okay.
So here I
Okay.
am facing, and my 100% data was exhausted. I take
Okay.
another 11 recharge for the data, and that was
Okay.
also exhausted, sir. So that's why I have to stop that, and I was waiting for the 12 o'clock so that the new data can be renewed and I will use again. So
Okay. Okay. Fine, ma. Okay. Done. So all the best to you. So please focus most on the training. PHP is little different from HTML. It is not that straightforward. You will have to really understand logic. You should have a logical reasoning, ability to solve some mathematical equations, and all that should be there. So all the best to you. So tomorrow I'll let you know what time it is. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma. Bye.
Bye.